What is going on, YouTube world? It's Jay Coffee, and the hit TV show Euphoria just came to a close last night. Not even 24 hours ago at the time of me recording this. And you heard like heavy spoilers on the way. So if you haven't seen it, don't tap into this video. If you haven't, you go watch it. Happen to remember, come back and have a convo with me in the comments about the show, this commentary that I want to lay out, some points that I want to touch on. The volume on this video is buns. You know what I mean? So try and turn your speakers up. It was pretty interesting the way they tied this show all together. I didn't know. I could have swore there was going to be a fourth season. I thought when season 3 was on the way that I heard news. Maybe I'm tripping, or maybe I'm right, and they had got initially renewed for a fourth season, but decided not to. But for a show that was criticized heavily, and there was some pretty wild ish in it, in my opinion, like about the youth, the way they're growing up, things in high school. Like, who knows if it is totally accurate these days in the first couple seasons. Like, it seemed a bit over the top, but with what they did in season 3, tying it all together with the main topic, because it kind of felt like a different show in this third and final season. They still touched on other storylines, other characters and their character arcs and such, but the more main idea of it all ended up just being addiction and evil, or what society in drugs and such has become. But here we go with them spoilers. Once again, click up out of here if you didn't see it, but you heard in the beginning that was Rue's sponsor, Ali, calling her mother with bad news. And the bad news is that she has passed away.
I used to believe that the world would be a better place if people could empathize with addiction. To understand that addicts were suffering from an incurable disease, no different than cancer. The addict may be in remission, but that disease ain't gone. I thought that empathy was the key. But if you can empathize with an addict, you can also empathize with a dealer. They're selling drugs to feed their children. Who can't understand that? So maybe empathy ain't that helpful after all. And maybe the real disease is that people no longer know the difference between right and wrong. I don't care what your struggles may be. You poison kids for money. You're evil. It's plain and simple. Number one cause of death for people under the age of 50 is fentanyl. An accident. That's big business. I ain't just talking about the kid on the corner selling fake Percocets. You know how many motherfuckers gotta be complicit? From the government that allow their people to make the chemicals, to the shipping companies to bring that shit across the seas, to the dock workers that let that shit out, to the cartels, the cookers, the corrupt cops, the bureaucrats at the border, the non-profits who justify it, the lawyers and politicians who defend it all. A couple of months ago, I lost someone I really cared about. And for the first time in a long time, years and at my house, talking to kids, helping kids, pouring my fucking heart and soul to kids, only to not see them get a second chance. I'm done. Only thing I know for certain is that there is a right and a wrong in this world. And in between, you're either making the world a better place or you're making it worse. In the end, it's that fucking simple. This is gonna be my last meeting. I'm gonna find another way to be of better service.
So like I said, what a way to tie this all together. They kept it real, right? That's what it is. And I saw something when I figured it out last night after watching this. This ain't just the season finale. It's the series finale. It's a wrap. It's over. And the creator, the Levinson dude, in some kind of interview was quoted, something that was published last night from some news platform. Like, more or less, I'm paraphrasing on his quote, but we kept it real. If you do drugs nowadays, chances are you can and will die. And that's something that I speak about all the time on this platform is drugs nowadays, right? Back in the day, or not even that long ago, because that's something that they touched on in this season as well. Her sponsor, who was speaking there as he was going out to exact vengeance upon the evil. He was leaving the meetings alone, them rooms alone, and he was going out there to carry out a plan. So even if you were like, hey, fuck it, I'll get spoiled on this, you could still go out and watch the whole episode, even with knowing this, and still be entertained by it, in my opinion. But in the beginning of the season, they spoke about the Book of the Dead, and through the different images on things on the screen in this video, you'll see him adding Rue's name to that book. And he's in one of the early episodes, because he was in like episode 1 or 2, or 1 and 2, I believe, and then we didn't see him as much until this final episode and the previous episode. But in one of them first episodes, 1 or 2, Rue spoke about how back when the sickness kicked in, the pandemic, right? Where we always talk about on this channel, life changed. That whole sickness, the way it all went down, it changed society in a major way, from mental health to all kinds of different stuff. Like it knocked the earth off its axis, metaphorically speaking. It changed everyone's life, and a lot of people never really recovered from that. Things are just different. Like I always say, it feels like the world is spinning different these days, and almost like it'll never be the same. And, not to get all conspiratorial, but there's been some things going on, straight up. And he spoke about, Rue, narrating the show in one of those earlier episodes, spoke about the Book of the Dead and how during the sickness he was checking in on his sponsees more often because the meetings were canceled because people couldn't go outside like that, and he kept losing people. You know what I mean? Isn't that crazy that everything's shut down, the sickness is ongoing, restaurants and such ain't open, AANA meetings can't happen, but the streets are still pumping. That work's still out there, that toxic poison, as we spoke about, right? And he lost so many sponsees during the sickness. And again, that's what we talk about on this channel all the time, that back in the day, people used to, this Fenty stuff has only shifted into this place of culture of the streets and addiction where it is now. It hasn't been like that long. But prior to that, when Fenty wasn't even heard of, or we just started hearing it a little bit, the class of drugs that were around, people could try them, experiment throughout life. Not recommending people do, but it was a thing, that was out there, and you may encounter it, you may try it, you may not, you may be in active addiction, go get locked up, come home, get clean, relapse, or get clean, stay clean, whatever, but live to tell about it all. These days, the very first time, it's over. It can be a done deal. And they spoke about that as well in another episode where the Ali guy was talking about only in this country this seems to be going on and no one gives a fuck. Now, I don't know if that's accurate. I mean, I think it is, but it's real. Something else they addressed in an episode of the show too was when there was some big deal going down. Someone was saying, why do you guys sell this ish? You know, why kill off the customer base? It makes no sense. And then one of the other characters was saying, hey, we're just supplying a service. People want to get high. This is what it is. And it's just so crazy that it's become that, but none of it makes any sense. And as you heard that big speech that he went upon as he went to go out on this plan, it put it all in context very well. And I just like what's going on in this world. And I thought that was cool, that a show that people viewed as reckless and, giving bad influence or ideas out to people out there. Season 3, they tied it all in and told the real story. Addiction will kill you like it did Rue. And, empathy. Religion was a big part of this, and the Bible was a big part of this season as well. You know what I'm saying? Rue found herself spiritually. Even after her passing, her friends picked up her Bible and got into, their whole spiritual journey and everything like that. And then you hear the sponsor there, Ali. He had been a Muslim. He had been a Christian. He had been an addict. He had been in recovery. He had sponsored people. But, empathy and sympathy and such used to be the way with this disease of addiction. But now with it being just straight up poison out there and what it's doing to people and everyone that's complicit too, from street level people to everything up the food chain. And that goes into speaking about how you feel about this stuff on a conspiratory level, if you feel like it's more than a conspiracy, right? Because this is major big business that would seem to have to involve the elites. And it's just into him now, right? It's just black and white. Are you making the world a better place? Are you poisoning the kids? You know what I'm saying? Poisoning the streets. This ain't what it used to be. There's no room for people out there hustling, slanging dope, making money, right? Like, it's just good and evil now. And it's time for him to go eye for an eye and exact revenge. And he did just that. I'm not going to get into all that. Again, go watch the episode. Hopefully, I didn't spoil for anyone. As I said multiple times, there's heavy spoilers in this thing. But there you have it, man. Euphoria. What a crazy ending. Did it take you by storm? What is your thoughts about it? And not just about this show and the way they told the story in season 3. And there was some wild shit in there, man. Season 3 it was like, hey, we're back. You know what I mean? But it got dark. It got brutal. And it kind of was right off top. Like the opening scene, you realize like Rue was running drugs across the border. And you know what I mean? She's like hemmed up by the cartel. And it just was crazy. It was some real shit. So with all that being said, I'm going to close this thing out. Everyone, please subscribe to the channel. Like the video. We talk about TV shows, music, news, movies, sports, a bit of everything over here. And, I always just want to have that conversation with you guys. So let's talk about this show. And better than that, what was the content of it in real life? How real and gritty it all was. And that wild-ish, how everything has changed since the sickness, and the biblical side of things, how they were calling for people to get right with the Lord and go on their spiritual journey. You know what I mean? Like, that time is here, y'all.